Well, good morning, everybody. You know, this was one of those mornings where I woke up and I reset the alarm. I woke up, reset the alarm. Come on now. You've all had mornings like that. I know you have. You just don't want to admit it. But I had a reason for my doing all that this morning, and that's that every time I got up with the alarm, it was pouring rain outside. And I said, you know what? I could grab 15 more minutes of shut-eye if I just kind of wait, and by then, the rain will be done. Nope, just wasn't happening. Finally, I just got myself up, came downstairs, sat there doing some reading, and suddenly, you know what? It was done. It stopped. And it's just this little bit of sun that popped out real quick, and things even got a little steamy out, which was kind of interesting. But here we are. I have this little break that I can get outside and take care of the animals and hopefully not get too wet. But before I decided to do that, I said, I gotta come for a walk. I'm going for a walk toward the back part of my property. Do you hear those birds singing? It's amazing. And it's peaceful, it's calm. Look at the green leaves popping out all around. It's almost as if overnight they've shot open twice as much as they were before. It's just a great way to start the day. I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We go to church to worship, and when we walk into church, the part where we all sit in our nice straight pews and look forward toward the altar, we call that the sanctuary. I'll say it again. This is God's sanctuary. This is God's sanctuary. Oh, there's no sunshine right now. And it's wet and it's damp. But it is cool. It is refreshing. We see the hand of God at work in a place like this. Oh, it was interesting. The Apostle Paul had made a trip. He made several trips throughout the Mediterranean during his lifetime to spread the word of God, to spread the word that Jesus had been crucified and risen to new life, and that new life is available to all of us now through him. And in one of the places he was in Greece, he stopped and he saw all these idols popping up everywhere around town. Idol for this, idol for that. And he decided, these people are pretty religious in one way or another, so let's have a little talk. And so he got together with them, and the one thing about the Greeks is they'd like to have a good debate. And they didn't care what it was about and who you were and where you came from. Let's just sit down and let's have a great talk about that. This, that, the other. So Paul decided, hey, let's talk about all these gods that we see everywhere. And what he did was he focused on one god in particular. He said, hey, I noticed you have this idol sitting over there, on the 3rd Street over, and it's about 5 houses down. There's this little niche there, and it says, to an unknown God. To an unknown God? Who does that? Well, you do. You people put an idol up to an unknown God. I'm going to tell you something right now. I know who that God is. And it goes on, and it gives them the gospel proclamation about Jesus. Now, I'm telling you, when I walk outside and I see all this, maybe there are folks, and maybe even ourselves at times, we feel this way. God is unknowable, he's unreachable, he's untouchable, and yet, wow, here he is, right here in front of us. God revealing himself to us in the grandeur, in the splendor of this created world. This is absolutely awesome. And even as I stand here right now, it's starting to rain again. So I guess I better get these chickens out and fed before I get soaked, because that's what the forecast is. On and off showers with some pretty good downpours. But at the same time, this is where I want to stay. I was kind of thinking maybe once we open up our church buildings again, we should leave the padlocks on and all go outside and stand in the wide open. Stand in the hills, in the forests. Stand in the midst of all this beautiful wild vegetation and contemplate that God who sometimes is unknown to us, but who reveals himself to us all over the place. I'm enjoying this morning, even though it's wet. I hope you do too, because in the midst of all this, we see a God who indeed is not unknown. He has revealed himself to us, not only in nature like this, but through his love that comes to us personally through one another. Please make it a point, get outside. Envelop yourself in all this glory. It's God's glory being made known to us. God, who sometimes is unknown to us, revealing himself in a powerful and wonderful way. God's blessings be with you today as you take your walk and see the God who makes himself known to us. God's blessings.